Namaste and welcome, darling loves. How are you today? My name is Anya Light. I will be guiding us in this exploration today of Gaian healing techniques. I thought I'd jump on a few minutes early to give everyone a little reading before we get started. So I am going to shuffle my Osho deck here. It's the Osho Zen Tarot deck. And as I shuffle, I'd like to invite you to think about, hold the intention of receiving guidance about how you would like to approach this session. Maybe clearing any blocks that you might have, or insight into just the heart stance that you can take, or the mental stance that you can take as you approach this gathering today. So I already have a card, and this reading will be valid whether you're joining us live right now or later on. So do you have your intention, your question, what you want to be revealed or answered in your heart? I'll just give you another second to do that. Okay, let's see what we have here. Wonderful. I have the maturity card. And this card is all about cycles, really. This card is about the transition of the seasons. It's very appropriate for what we're doing today. As you can see, there's a bunch of flowers. And it's about coming into wisdom. It's about you. The card wants you to know that you've gone through a lot in your life, and you have reached a certain level of wisdom, a certain level of mastery. And this session here today, Gaian Healing Techniques in our Soul Satsang, is not so much about learning anything brand new. This session, the reason you're drawn to it today is because you already have a level of mastery with your healing, with your life, really, and your awakening journey. And so I would like to invite you to approach this session as more of a celebration and a playful recognition of what you have already achieved for yourself through hard work, I might add. This card is a lot about reaping the benefits, reaping what was sown. So you've already planted so many seeds in the ground for your own healing process, your own healing and awakening journey. So again, this is more a chance for us to gather today in honor, in recognition of what you've already done and achieved. So there we go. So I see people starting to log on now. Would you do me a favor, please, and let me know if the sound is okay? So if you can hear me, please let me know in the live chat. Let me know that the sound is functioning appropriately. I would really appreciate it. I see people still logging on here. And so I don't see anyone letting me know that the sound is good. Does that mean you can't hear me? If you can't hear me, let me know that as well, because I can adjust the mic. So please let me know either way. Am I good? Not? And I also would like to invite you to answer the question of the day. So I hope the live chat is working right now. And there might be a little bit of a delay. Sometimes there's a delay. So to get the discussion going here, I would like to offer you a question of the day, all right, based on our theme of what we're talking about today. So, okay, here's my question for you. If you could select an environment that you could live in for the rest of your life, like if you had to pick one environment for the rest of your life, what would it be? Would it be mountains, in or near mountains, in or near a body of water? Would it be in the desert, in a forest, or in a snow environment? So and why? Why would that be your pick? What is your favorite place on Mother Gaia? What is your favorite area? Would love to hear. All right. I'm just going to try to refresh the page here because sometimes the live chat is a little bit funky. So we're going to see if it is indeed working. So again, let me know if you can hear me and see me okay, and what is your preferred hear me and see me? What is your preferred mode of communication or preferred environment? Cool. All right, loves. I think y'all are shy because you don't want to type anything. Who's here? Just let me know who's here. That would make me very happy. Okay, so I did take notes today. Normally I let it flow a bit more, but for today's Soul Satsang, I felt a deep need to write down the different points that I was going to make sure that I cover everything. This particular Soul Satsang it feels incredibly relevant and timely considering the fact of where we're at as a planet right now. Right now, as a planet, we are being called to connect with Gaia, Mother Earth, more deeply, more profoundly than ever before. And basically, I was out for a walk. When was this? Maybe 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago. There was still snow on the ground. And I received a clear message to give all of this information that you're about to receive today. So it came in one giant swoop into my system. So all of these points harmonize together. All of these points fit together. So, and as I'm going through, let me know your comments and questions, and I will get to those as well. So, okay. So let's officially begin our Soul Satsang. So I see people logging on still, and I just want to give us a moment here before I start my channeling, and I want to give us a moment to breathe. So let us take a deep, exquisite breath together, knowing that we are participating from all corners of the globe, knowing that we bring our intentions together in this moment for healing, for love, and for community and connection. Take another deep breath down into the belly. And exhaling through the mouth. Awesome. Okay, so for those of you who have not yet heard me talk about Gaia, I'd like to give just a little bit of background on me as a healer. Gaia, Mother Earth, was the first spirit guide that I ever connected with in a very deep and real way. So Gaia was the first guide that made her appearance in my life in a way that felt not just on the mental level, but on the deep experiential somatic level as well. So I am an incredibly analytical person. For those of you who know me, you know I love to think and analyze, and this is what makes me love teaching, because I love to dissect things and take them apart. Yet, on the spiritual journey, this can be a hindrance. So in the very beginning of my awakening and healing journey, about when it got really intense was about 10 years ago. And when this shift started to happen and I started to really wake up, I noticed that all these teachers, spiritual teachers, were talking about spirit guides. And to me, it just seemed a bit far-fetched. I think I had some blocks from earlier in my life with being raised in more of a dogmatic religious situation where I was taught about a lot of things that I could never really feel. It was just, oh, have faith in this. But they never taught us how to actually feel the things that they were talking about. So I think I had some blocks, some definite blocks. And then I remember as I began my Reiki practice that, and I honestly don't remember how this came to me, but I remember starting to connect with Gaia as a way to help me ground old energies. So, and I'm pretty sure this came from just a direct download from source. I don't think I was taught this by any teacher specifically, but it just occurred to me when I was practicing Reiki that I really need to talk to Gaia here, because I was taught to connect energetically to the earth to allow there to be a path for, you could call it negative, you could call it dense, you could call it old energies to be released. So I was doing that, but I thought there was not much of a personalized emotional connection with that process. So I just intuitively, spontaneously began to pray to Gaia. And I just went on instinct. I just started doing it. I didn't know if it was correct or not, but I started doing it. And I really, really felt a deep shift in my Reiki practice and my deep abilities to work with the Reiki healing energy. So Gaia was the first spirit guide that I really felt was real and bypassed my analytical mind, which tended to write off such things as nonsense. So if you are one of those people that's watching this and you are highly analytical, highly intellectual, highly mentally focused, I want you to know I'm right there with you. I'm still that way. I still love to think and analyze and categorize and break it down and just, I used my brain in service of my spiritual journey now. We call that Jnana yoga, the mind, using the mind to transform the mind. But Gaia is an easy kind of spirit guide to work with in the sense of she is right here with us all the time in a very physical, tangible form. So we walk outside our door into nature and we put our feet on the ground and we take off our shoes and we plant our feet in the bare, beautiful soil. There she is. We can just say, hi, how you doing? So with like other spirit guides, for example, maybe the archangels, well, if we're not yet sensitive to energies, if we're not yet on that path, it might be difficult to really feel those beings. But with Gaia, we can actually feel her physical form. So, so that's the first thing. So Gaian healing techniques. There's a number of things that we can do to really connect with her in a very specific and sacred way. For me, feeling this huge burst of emotion here. For me, my journey with Gaia is ever deepening by the day, and it continues to blow me away what she shows me. And I'm telling you, the quickest way to speed into the next chapter of your journey, your healing journey, your awakening journey, healing, awakening, same thing, is to really, really make more of a time and space for connecting with Gaia intentionally. So what to do? I see lovely souls here. So what do we do? So, okay. So I know that if you're here on this broadcast, that you probably already spend a good portion of time out in nature. That's my guess. Or else you wouldn't be drawn to this. But how often, when you go out into nature, do you take a minute or two to close your eyes, take a breath, and ask Gaia for a specific healing? How often do you set your intention at the very beginning of that experience, that adventure? So every time I go out into Gaia, whether it's swimming in the river, hiking in the woods, I always set an intention for what do I need right now? What do I want to receive right now from Gaia? How do I want to connect with Gaia? Because in truth, and this is such a beautiful thing, Gaia as a spirit, as a guide, she exists to serve us. Okay, let me repeat this. Gaia is waiting to serve us because that is her mission. Now, when I say this, it could be confused with different points of view from different religions who are saying quite drastically different things than what I'm trying to communicate right now. For example, in the specific Christian denomination that I was raised in, we were always taught that the earth is but a mere resource for humans to use at our will. Yes, there was talk of being a good steward, but really it was not an acknowledgement of Gaia as a consciousness. It was more like Gaia, it was like the earth is this collection of minerals and wood and food and et cetera, et cetera. Do a good job and don't mess it up, kind of a thing. But there is no respecting and honoring. At least this is how I was taught. There was no honoring and respecting of her as a consciousness. So it's very different from what I'm saying to you now. What I'm saying to you now is that the earth being, the Gaia being, she is here and waiting to receive your acknowledgement as a being that exists in every bit as real and meaningful as a form as me and you. So I know this is elementary for some of you who are logged into this transmission now, but for some of you, this is new. So if this is elementary for you, please bear with me. I'm going to get to more techniques in a moment, but I just wanted to set the foundation here to help you understand what Gaia can do for you and how to humbly and with great reverence approach her for your healing journey. So I hope that makes sense. So when we are embarking on our nature adventure, our nature quest, we can set an intention right away. It could be simple. An intention I often set is, Gaia, please heal me today. That's it. It's basically like an affirmation. And then I repeat that affirmation throughout the adventure. Every few minutes when it dawns on me, oh, Gaia, please heal me today. The intention could be anything. So if you're working on a specific ailment, if you're working on a disease that you're healing, if you're working on a relationship issue, it could be anything. So, but just getting clear and setting that intention at the very beginning. Okay. Moving forward, does anyone have questions so far on what I'm asking or what I'm sharing? I had some ceremonial cacao before this transmission, so I'm extra in love with all of you. Who here has tried ceremonial cacao? It's far beyond chocolate you can buy at the store. Yeah, it's very heart chakra opening. It's also very energizing. So I'm trying my best to speak slowly, because if I just went with how I really felt right now, I'd be talking like a mile a minute. So I'm trying to slow down. Cool. Okay, moving on. So when we are out in nature, wherever we are, the first thing that we can do is we can take the road less traveled. So if you're at a park, if you're at a nature preserve, if you're out in the wilderness, if you are out at a city park, wherever you are in nature, look for the paths, look for the areas that have been less traveled by people. So go off the path. Go to the less popular paths. Go to the more dense paths through the woods. Okay, why am I saying this? The key really to connecting deeper with Gaia and receiving those deep healing frequencies from her is to get the heck away from humans for a while. Now, God bless humans. I'm not saying that the human race is bad or something, but what I am saying is, number one, humans carry cell phones and they often don't turn them off when they're out in nature. So, and I always do, I turn my cell phone off, I turn on airplane mode, which allows the Wi-Fi to not get drawn into the phone. So first of all, when you're taking the less traveled path, then you are away from the EMFs, the electromagnetic frequencies, and this is incredibly important for regenerating your human form, for healing. We are seriously bombarded constantly with EMFs, and it is very taxing on the human body. So there's that. Also, when humans walk in certain areas, when we congregate, when we travel through certain areas, we leave our magnetic and emotional and auric imprint on that space, that place. So, have you ever been out in a really super wild place, like out in the middle of nowhere, and you feel high? This is because it's been relatively untouched by other humans. And the sad fact is, most human beings, we carry a lot of stuff, a lot of baggage, a lot of garbage, really, energetic garbage in our fields. So when humans go to a certain area, it tends to bring the frequency down. Tends to. I'm not saying always, but I'm saying tends to. So the less traveled paths are going to be the ones with the most pure Gaian energy, the most pure Gaian frequency. So take the less traveled paths. While you're on the less traveled paths or the most out of the way places, the most remote that you can get, what you can do is you can repeat a mantra to yourself over and over and over. You can say, Gaia, please cleanse and heal my energy fields. Gaia, please cleanse and heal my energy fields. So she's going to do this for you anyway, but if you actually ask for it specifically, then it, like, the healing amps up a millionfold. When I started practicing this, I saw such a dramatic increase in how good I felt when I was out in nature and how refreshed and restored I felt when I left and came back home. I was like, wow, it's a huge difference. So it doesn't, if you're new to this sort of lingo and you don't really know what an energy field is, just for the sake of a simple explanation, your body, you are made of energy. Your body is made of energy. You radiate energy. Okay. So there's fields of energy shooting off around your body, and these get clogged. These get just like if you smoke a cigarette, your lungs get clogged with toxins and tar. Your energy fields get clogged with different things in the environment, whether it be emotions, psychic impressions from others, EMFs, pollution, radiation, etc. So when you ask Gaia specifically to heal, cleanse your energy field, she's going to do that for you more than if you weren't going to specifically ask. So just ask it. Be open. See what happens. Just be experimental. And I will tell you, you're going to feel something. For me, what I feel is a huge clearing behind me. It almost feels like, do you remember, in that movie, The Matrix with Keanu Reeves, how he's like hooked up to all those like black cords. And then when he starts to wake up, he has to like get out of them. In my mind, in that movie, they're all attached to mostly his back. I don't actually know if that's true or if that's just what I created in my own head. But I feel it. And when I ask for that, I feel this like release in my whole back. Almost like these cords are like popping out of my back one by one by one. And it just feels like lighter. So again, asking Gaia to cleanse your energy fields. Just see what happens. So along the lines of cleansing your aura, cleansing yourself completely and deeply when you're spending time adventuring with Gaia, what you can do if you do come across other people on your path. Now, all right, I'm going to preface this by saying maybe you're going to think this sounds nuts or you're not going to like it. It definitely has been a learning process for me over the years. I've known about this for a long time, but couldn't actually bring myself to really practice it up until recently because it's ingrained in me to be friendly. So let's put it that way. So here's what to do. When you see other humans coming into your space, walking towards you on the path, walking behind you, coming towards you, coming in your space from any direction, what you can do is avoid looking at them and avoid eye contact, especially, and avoid speaking to them. Basically, put yourself in a little invisibility cloak. Just will yourself. Right now, I'm going invisible mode. I'm going superhero mode. I'm invisible, right? Now, at the soul level, their soul is going to completely understand why you did that. Maybe their personality might, but that's not your concern, because right now what I'm trying to explain is how to use Gaia as a friend and a tool to help you heal. And if that's your intention, now maybe sometimes when you're out in Gaia land, your intention could be different. You could say, you know what, I'm just up for like a social time right now, just like have fun, be out with friends. So what I am describing right now, all these different techniques, let me kind of back up here. All these techniques really make the most sense if you're by yourself or if you're with a really close, trusted loved one where you're at the same frequency and you're holding the same intention for healing. So anyway, but when you see other humans coming near you, near your physical body, in eyesight, within the range of vision, within the range of sound, as much as possible, go into invisibility mode. You don't have to say hi back if they say hi to you. You don't have to respond. You don't have to look at them. Why am I saying this? This probably sounds awfully antisocial and cranky, right? But what I've discovered, Gaia has shown me this, is that when you make any kind of contact with a human, you are psychically imprinting yourself into them. You're in a sense merging with them, even if it's just for a second through just saying hi. So if your intention is for healing, that imprinting is going to detract somewhat from what you're trying to do, because what you're trying to do out in nature is to be completely absorbed in your healing process. And literally, like, your main goal is to clear and cleanse your energy fields. So any human static is going to interfere in that. So it does take up some getting used to be the kind of person who, doesn't make eye contact or doesn't reply if someone tries to say hi to you. It's been hard for me because I'm a very friendly person, as you can imagine. And I like to say hi to people. And I usually am in a very chatty, open and receptive mood. I mean, like, for example, if I go to the grocery store, I love to spark up conversations with people. I love to smile at everyone. But when I'm at the grocery store, my intention is different. My intention is more of a communal feeling, whereas with being out in nature with that sacred purpose of healing, it's a different mode. It's a different kind of vibe. So give me a like if this resonates with you, or if what I'm saying makes sense. It's like crickets out there today. That's funny. Is any of this resonating with you guys? Let me know. I'd love to know. It's one of the more challenging things about teaching online like this is if I don't get feedback, I start to not know what's going on or if I'm really connecting with people, and I really want to connect with you. So is this resonating? How are you feeling so far about this material? Let me know. Please and thank you. Okay, there's 2 more things I'd like to share, beloved ones. So I'm sharing about how to heal when you're in your journey with Mother Gaia out in nature. And one of the cool things is that we can not only receive, but we can also give back. So Native Americans have a great ritual for this. They bring tobacco with them when they're out spending time with nature, and they offer little pouches or sprinkles of tobacco out when they're doing ritual out in nature. Or they'll leave a crystal or a feather or something else is like, here, thank you. So leaving something behind to share their gratitude. What I do is, in order to harmonize with nature even more deeply, what I do is, as I'm looking at the trees, I will say, blessings to you, tree friends. As I'm looking at the birds, I say, blessings to you, bird friends. I will look at the grass, blessings to you, my grass friends. And I will offer my blessings to all the beings that I see, the animals and the plants and the minerals and the sun, the sky, the wind, and all the elements. This is a really helpful practice to do if you're in the process of healing seasonal allergies, by the way, because when you harmonize with, when you bless the beings, your friends that you see, your non-human friends, then you are essentially harmonizing yourself in a way where you lose the distinction between yourself and these other beings. So it could be really easy to sometimes feel and think that we're so different. You know, I as a human, I'm so much different than that tree. That tree is so different from me. But in reality, we are the same. So as you bless all the different beings and love them unconditionally, you're healing them too. And you are essentially offering and giving back to Gaia. So as you experience the healing that you receive, you give back. And the final thing I wanted to share with you about ways that you can journey with nature. Hey, Holly, it's really good to see you here. Awesome. The final thing is to listen for sounds. So, I especially love this one because I'm such a sound person. I don't know about you, but sounds are my thing. So when you're out in nature, allow your mind to wander. Give yourself permission and space to just let yourself go. Just let your mind flit from this to this to this. Just very playful, very light. And when you hit upon an insight that feels very profound, like a light bulb goes off, aha, then listen to see if there's any sounds that correspond to that moment of insight. So what happens for me when I get a big insight, like it could be about anything, it could be literally anything in my life, but just a big insight comes in, big aha moment, it always corresponds with some awesome sound out there. So like it could be geese flying overhead honking. Just as a side note for me, geese is the way that Gaia speaks most directly to me. I love geese. They're like, I understand geese. I get them. They're my peeps. So I love their like combination of serious adorableness combined with don't mess with me kind of badassery. Like don't mess with the goose. So I like that like yin yang kind of thing. So geese, like where I live right by a beautiful river, and there's geese here pretty much all through the year. And whenever I'm in my little apartment here and I have an insight or a good idea, it seriously never fails. I will literally start hearing a goose honking or multiple geese honking. Like it happens every day, multiple times a day, to the point where it just has become normal to me. And I actually don't even really like remark on it as being anything out of the ordinary. It's just how it is. But like if I'm walking in the forest, I will hear woodpeckers, or I'll hear, it could even be a non-animal sound. It could be like a plane fly overhead, or it could be a squirrel making those little like chirpy sounds. So again, when you have a download, when you have an insight about yourself, your life, you're going to just pay attention in that moment as it's coming into you, that insight, that idea. What sound are you hearing? That sound confirms that you're on the right track. Also, it can also be like a warning too, for example. So let's say you're contemplating making some decision, taking some action, and you're not really sure about it. And you have the thought, maybe I'll do this. And then you hear like a really creepy sound, like just like a sound that just feels in your gut, like, ugh, like kind of a horror movie or something. Just like as an example, I was recently contemplating doing something. I wasn't sure about it. And as I was thinking about doing it, a dog started barking, like in a really dark kind of way, like giving me the sign that it's bad to go down this path. It's not in my highest good. So one of the things as we go through our Gaian healing journey, we start to really see the magic of life. And I think that's the most exciting part of the spiritual path, of the healing path, is we start to see those signs and those synchronicities. And I'm going to talk about this in a future soul satsang, perhaps next month or the next few months, on the topic of the trap of mindfulness, because I think one of the ways that people can get a bit stuck in their spiritual journey is they focus so much on mindfulness that they don't notice the synchronicities and the signs, and more of the magical side to life, more of the interpretation. So anyway, when we pay attention to sounds, when we're out spending time with Gaia, that is a great way to really get in touch with the synchronicities and how your brain is literally hooked up to the whole universe. And that's reflected to you through the sound. Also, too, when we're out in nature and we see a specific animal, we can read into that interpretation. So if you see deer, that could mean have patience. That's what it usually means for me. If you see a fox, it could mean use your brain, think, analyze, because foxes are very intelligent. So again, like looking into the spirit animal aspect, what animals are appearing in your path? So let me know if what I'm saying makes sense so far. I'm just checking my notes here to make sure I've said everything I want to share. Yeah, I have. Okay, so from here, I'm going to take some questions. So please do type in questions that you have here for me. And I'm checking, I received some pre-submitted questions. Okay. So as I'm answering these pre-submitted questions, I invite you to type in your questions in the live chat, please. Okay, so I have a question from Jay, and it's a two-part question. How do I strengthen my connection to nature, and how is nature related to my consciousness? So, so I'll dig into the second part first. So how is nature related to my consciousness? Nature is your consciousness. Nature is you. The distinction between yourself and a tree is imaginary, ultimately. In the human realm, yes, there is a distinction to be made that could be helpful as you go through your day-to-day life. But Jay, your consciousness and nature, Gaia, is completely intertwined, and in fact is one and the same. So when we start to really dig into that and feel that, we really begin to feel how everything is our home. Every place is our home. Every animal is our friend. Every plant is our teacher. I love the Native American ways when they talk about, for example, in their sweat lodges, they talk about the grandmothers and the grandfathers being the rocks that they use when they bring them into the ceremony, that they pour the steam on these hot rocks, or I'm sorry, they pour the water on these hot rocks, and then the steam comes out to help everyone sweat and cleanse. But they reverentially refer to the rocks as grandmothers and grandfathers because they've been around for so long. They have this wisdom. The rocks collect information. The rocks are memory. It's like a memory stick. And so, and the Native Americans, you know, they refer to the plant people and the animal people and the plant friends and the animal friends. And I just love that. And I love this growing feeling that I have inside of myself. And I just love to share this with others about realizing that these distinctions between myself and the plants and the mineral kingdom and the animals is a false distinction. And the direction that I'm moving, and that I'd like to invite you to move with me, is to let those distinctions start to dissolve more and more and more. Let them fall away and really start to feel the interconnection. And these might just be words for you because perhaps you haven't felt it yet. But I do promise you that if you put into practice some of these tools that I mentioned earlier, that you will begin to feel these things very, very deeply. And so, Jay, your second part of your question was, how do I strengthen my connection to nature? You know, I just shared some tools that hopefully some will resonate and work for you. Ultimately, we each have to make our own way. We each have to figure out the ways that Gaia can whisper to us as our own spirit guide. So Gaia has her own ways that she will connect with you that'll be different than the ways that I connect with Gaia. So be open, listen. And that's, again, you know, the spiritual path is more than just clearing the mind and meditation. The spiritual path is so very much about listening to the messages that we get from the universe, from Gaia, from our spirit guides. So listen is my advice to you. And then I have a question, and I think she's on the call right now. from a friend, one of my dear Reiki students. She received a vexing diagnosis recently, and pretty intense. And she wanted to know what practices would specifically help her during this time of healing. And I was tuning into that question for you, dear, and the answer that I kept getting was and it's something we already touched on in the Reiki training, which is to send the old, outdated, keep that word in mind, outdated energies down into the earth. So what you can do is go out into nature, dig a big hole, stick your feet in there, take off your socks and shoes. Put your hands together in prayer and just visualize sending down all the outdated programs, all the outdated, outmoded thought patterns down. Send it down into the heart of Mother Gaia. So Mother Gaia can accept all of our ills, our woes, and she can recycle and transform them for us. She's like a giant filter for old energy. And of course, we offer her gratitude and respect. And through this spiritual alliance, this spirit alliance, she helps us. There is such an untapped reservoir of power that so many humans have not discovered yet. And it would blow their minds to realize what is possible. So, my dear, in reference to your question, I know this is a hard time, and I know it's probably bringing up a lot of fears. And as I said to you before in the a text message I sent you, this is also an opportunity. I know that could be like hard to hear, like, ugh, opportunity, but it is an opportunity for the spiritual warrior. And I know that you are that. So as you use this illness as an opportunity rather than a burden, you will launch yourself into higher and higher states of consciousness, and your body will heal, and your mind will heal, and your spirit will heal. And you will transcend the limitations that you heretofore have experienced and launch yourself into a brand new way of being. And this is a conscious choice that you make. This isn't a given. This is a conscious choice that you must make. Do you want to use your illness in that way? I always say that our illness is our rite of passage. I know I experienced it. I was suffering from a number of illnesses that were life-threatening about 10 years ago. And it was not clear whether I would live or die. And I chose on a few key occasions to really dive into ceremony, healing methods, and meditation. So, dear one, I know that you are capable of the greatest transformation possible. I know it. All right. I'm going to give y'all one more minute. If you got any questions, I would love to answer them live. So go ahead and type them in the chat box. And what else? Oh, yes. Okay. So if you feel called to, this is never expected, but I'm just offering it as something that you might feel that you want to do for yourself. If you'd like to leave me a donation, you can click the link below in the description box, and that takes you to a place that you can offer a donation of any amount. Is greatly appreciated. More and more, my work is being supported through donations, and that's the way I like to do it, really. So that makes it easier for me to share my teachings, freely, like in these kind of formats, rather than behind a paywall. So I really do really appreciate donations. And then also, I wanted to tell you about our next Soul Satsang. So as I mentioned to my newsletter group, this is my birth month. I was born in April. So I am offering 2 gatherings. Usually we do 1 Soul Satsang per month, but this month we're doing 2. So our next one will be Saturday, April 24th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time in the United States. And it will be on the topic of connecting with ETs. I have not taught about this topic yet, so this will be new. So bring your questions. ETs, connecting with the cosmos, connecting with ETs is one of the most potent ways that you can upgrade your consciousness and really start to feel the magic and the mystery of life. So I'm super excited about this next soul satsang. All right. Well, that is it. And so I deeply thank all of you for being here. I'm super excited that you were all here. If you are not here during the live stream and you're watching later, feel free to leave any feedback for me in the comments below. And I love you all so much. Signing out for now. Namaste. And if you're joining us from Ohio right now, today's a beautiful day. So go out and enjoy Mother Gaia for a while. All right. Love ya. Bye.